So here I am again for another weekly analysis on gold. So in this video I'll basically say where I think the price on gold will go, and I will show my important key levels for the week. So let's talk about that. So my important levels for the week are this low, this other low, this high, and then I will also mark some fair value gaps. So here we have a very important fair value gap that got disrespected the previous week. So this is basically the key levels that I will be very cautious next week. So as you can see here, with respect to this bullish PD array, so below the gap we are bearish, but as you can see with respect to the gap, but we swept the low, and then as you can see we are having a bullish reaction. In the previous week, if you remembered, I said that we would need to respect this gap if you want a continuation higher in the next days or weeks. But as you can see, we respected the gap, and I said that if we had a candle closure below this gap, we would have a continuation more at least to sweep the low, and as you can see, that was what happened. So here what I want today, if you want a continuation higher, is I need the candle closure above this low with a big wick, and if we close like this, we might see a bullish reaction from here. But here, as you can see, we will form a bearish PD array. So here we need a reaction, and then we will need to reclaim this gap. We will need to make an inverse of the gap. So we would need to have a daily closure above this gap if you want a continuation higher. But as you can see, we are more bearish than bullish. But as I said in the previous week, if we have a sweep here, we might have a bullish reaction right after. But here I just want to see candle closure above the low, and the best thing that could happen is inverse for the gap here. And if we have a daily closure above this gap, I would expect a continuation higher, at least to sweep this high, and then we might just continue going higher to this other high. But honestly, this week I think we will just stay in this range in the middle. But because we swept this low, we might still see a continuation higher in this week, because the low got swept. Now we have this low to sweep. So I honestly I'm more bullish than bearish because we swept the low. But as I said, we need to inverse this gap if you want move higher, and or here we just can have a bearish retest here and a continuation lower. But because we have a range and we swept the low, now I am more bullish than bearish. But as I said multiple times, we need to inverse this gap, and then if we inverse the gap, we might have a continuation higher to this high. So very simple plan, I will just mark. So we might have a bearish retest here and then a continuation lower, or we might have a very bullish reaction after sweeping the low, and we have inverse for the gap here, bullish retest, and then a continuation higher to the high. So very simple plan, bearish plan, bullish plan. These are the key levels for the week. So if you liked the video and learned something with me, like and subscribe. And in the next week, I'll be back for another weekly analysis on gold. So like and subscribe, and see you soon.